Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Berger and I'm here talking to you about a BYOD, or Bring Your Own Device, policy. We are currently in an age of mobile computing. 65% of all Americans are using smartphones according to the most recent publication of the Digital Consumer Report. This is up from 44% in 2011. As Gartner and McKinsey have pointed out, IT mobility seems to be an increasing phenomenon. What this means is that we are seeing more and more unmanaged devices coming into the workplace. If at any point these devices are being used to store sensitive corporate information, this can result in an informational security risk. Additionally, if an employee has trouble with one of their devices that hasn't previously been serviced by our IT department, we may not be able to reliably troubleshoot the problem. The solution to mitigating both these risks is implementing a proper BYOD policy. To start off, let me talk to you a little bit about the benefits to the company that a BYOD policy has. The most obvious benefit is the cost reductions to the company. Currently, we have to pay for the purchase of new devices, upgrading them, and then also the servicing and support of the ones already in circulation. With a BYOD policy, it's the employee that assumes the responsibility of these costs, leading to substantial savings for the company. A common fear among managers is that there will be greater opportunities for distraction when employees use personal equipment. However, in a recent study done by Intel, they actually found the opposite. With the BYOD policy that they had implementing, they found that employees were actually spending an additional 57 minutes every day on company-related work. This greater output in the same amount of time will result in additional savings in wages. Intel also thought that when employees had more access to their own personal devices used for work, they were more apt to collaborate when facing deadlines or emergencies. The company isn't the only one who benefits from a BYOD policy. With BYOD, you are replacing those computers that you were having to upgrade every couple years with the computers that employees already owned or were going to buy. This cuts down the total amount of e-waste that the firm is producing. Even though e-waste only makes up for a small percentage of American landfills, there is a high toxicity associated with them. E-waste accounts for 70% of overall toxic waste in the US. This means that with every piece of technology that is redundant and we cut out of our business model, the environment gets an additional benefit. For an example, to show both of these benefits in action, I'd look at a common practice used by many companies for corporate phones. It is fairly typical to see business people walking around with two cell phones, one for work and one for personal use. But what if instead the company paid for the personal cell phone? The employee can use it for both personal and corporate work. The company still gets a reduction in cost because telecom carriers will charge less for a personal cell phone than a corporate, and the environment has to deal with one less redundant piece of technology being thrown away as e-waste. In this scenario, everyone benefits. Now let's talk about some of the risks that I previously mentioned before associated with having personal unmanaged devices in the workplace that a BYOD policy needs to address. Informational security is an immediate concern. A company needs to be able to control the sensitive information that are stored on personal devices, but you don't want to violate the privacy rights of your employees. To solve this, I suggest taking an educational approach. Try to teach the employees what risks they're exposing the company to by having sensitive information on their computers. Once they understand these risks, they can then be held accountable in the event of security breaches. In Intel's case, they found that employees were more attentive to their personal devices because they had an increased sense of ownership. This drove down the rate of laptop loss and theft to all new lows. From an IT support standpoint, when dealing with computers provided by the company, there are standard specifications that need to be met. These can range from required types of operating systems to encrypted hard drives and logon protocols and antivirus software. All these features help ensure informational security, and help streamline the troubleshooting process in the event of an issue. However, when dealing with a personal device, you may be faced with different devices that aren't able to meet company requirements. This can lead to data being more at risk and increased difficulty or inability for your IT department to provide support for certain devices. To help address this IT risk, I suggest offering the employees a financial incentive when buying a computer. When an employee is buying a new personal device that they're going to use for work, offer a stipend to help cover the cost if it meets the company's criteria. The employees will benefit by being able to purchase higher quality devices for less, while servicing can be provided more easily by the company, allowing for them to ensure that all necessary security measures are in place on these devices. For added data security, the company should also offer to handle the end-of-life process of all these devices. When sensitive information is stored on the memory, it's important to ensure that there is no way to recover it after disposal. Without the company providing this service, there is no way to ensure that the employee follows the necessary steps required for a clean erase of all sensitive information. In conclusion, it's important to note that times are indeed changing and that there is an increasing number of employees that are bringing their personal devices to work. With a proper BYOD policy in place, we can use this trend to our advantage. Through proper employee training and financial incentives, we can minimize risk exposure and gain all the benefits from such a policy has to offer. Not only would we be able to reduce our own costs, but also the costs of our employees and the toll on the environment.